And the developing story is that Govan and Blac Youngsta was the hitman for Big Jook. Gotti and Angela Simmons, we had to investigate them because they hopped onto a plane trying to escape. They just randomly took a plane flight. This was not posted on any of the medias. It was just out of the blue. It was directly after the funeral when they took this plane. Why did they just take a plane in the middle of nowhere and weren't telling people where they were going? Usually they tell their fans and they tell the public. Now, neither man is accused of opening fire on Dolph, but both are said to have played a part in either the planning or the cover-up. Now, Jaye Johnson and Hernandez Govan will be both having to return to court in over just a month as co-defendants in the trial of the two other men charged with pulling the trigger. Now, if we can get another 30 days for Jaye Johnson, he is under certain bond conditions from the beginning that Jaye Johnson was not involved in the shooting of young Dolph or the planning. But prosecutors have said a week after the deadly attack that Jaye Johnson helped Justin Johnson, his half-brother, as part of Justin's short-lived escape, according to court records. And from what the witnesses stated, Govan and Blac Youngsta took the white SUV, and my personal opinion on this was it wasn't the smartest idea. This individual that their SUV got taken was actually a bait card. We were using it around the situation and the scene. The detectives pinged the cellular data and got the search warrant to search through his database of his phone records and his messages, and they actually pinged the location back to the restaurant where Big Jook was recently killed at. Yes, we have reason to believe right now that going on with Blac Youngsta is an inside job going against Big Jook and Gotti. Through the bullet casings and the shells that were found in forensics, it traced back to some gang members that we knew of, and some people that were recently involved in some other crimes that are under pending investigation that we cannot speak about at this moment. And this is what happened to him. And that's how we were able to find out that Blac Youngsta killed Big Jook, because we looked through the cellular data, we investigated. Even though he tried to delete messages and videos, we still were able to retrieve it through the cloud. We know how to retrieve files. You cannot destroy them. Even if you destroy them out of the cloud, we have other means and methods. And Govan made a call to Big Jook and Gotti 30 minutes before the funeral. And he threatened Gotti that if he basically didn't stay undercover, stay low on the wraps, and clear his name with the young Dolph case, that he was going to go after his brother Big Jook. And now, from that recent investigation and that revelation, we have the proof that we need to put these people away. And so there was a lot of people that were involved in this. You know, it was an inside job, it was undercover, it was masterminded. It wasn't just your average run-of-the-mill type of people. We had some people that were undercover, and Makita's father gave a statement saying that young Dolph did come in the cookie shop with one other person, but that one other person was not injured. Why was that? Was that person an informant? Was that person a lookout? Was that person giving out his location, telling what he was doing at that exact given moment so they could get him at the right time? And these are things we have to look out for. There's a lot of setups going on around here. And so I've been doing a lot of crime investigations throughout Memphis, throughout my whole career for a while now. And this is probably by far one of my worst cases. And I see this going on much more, and it's much more prevalent nowadays. It makes me sick. It makes me feel awful. And inside the white SUV, forensics found looking through the glove department and other parts of the seats that Govan's fingerprints were actually all over, and some of his hair follicles were on the floor and around the area. His DNA is in the car, and that gives us probable cause and suspicion and reason to believe what he has been involved in. And so our question is right now, did Gotti have a hand into what happened with young Dolph? You see, young Dolph was murdered at the Makita's cookie store, and we were all sitting here and believing that it was PRE, it was CMG, but it was actually a mix of Gotti and other conspirators and other gang members against Blac Youngsta. Yes, Gotti has an arrest warrant out for him. Right now he's involved with double homicide and another potential that was recently found. It also gave us probable cause with what he was recently posting in his Instagram posts, his Snapchat stories, and his other social media accounts, his Facebook including. And another thing is that James said that Big Jook was waiting across the street. That was another informant that we found in our investigations and through our detectives. Now remember, our detectives are good. They're used to these things. They're used to the call-outs, the green lights, the red lights. And James, gave us all those probable cause reasons to find out what we needed to find out. And we know that James was paid because she was the lookout for Yo Gotti and for Big Jook. From our investigations on things that they try to keep under wraps and try to keep from the public and the prying eyes. Young Dolph's wife says that everybody thinks that it was PRE that did it, but it was actually CMG that was involved in everything. And everything that happened with Blac Youngsta. You know, Blac Youngsta was the mastermind behind all this. He had everybody fooled. He had everybody at the beginning not knowing what he was really a part of. But we actually found out that he worked both sides, not just CMG, but a little bit with PRE. And we're going to come up with, we're going to let you know more of the facts and more pending investigations that are upcoming.
The developing story is that Big Jook hitman was Govan and Blac Youngsta. And
the developing story is that Big Jook was a hitman, and now Blac Youngsta hasn't shared anything about Big Jook's death because Big Jook's death is a recent death. Now remember, he doesn't want to incriminate himself. He doesn't want to be put on the spotlight like we know about QD and other people that have been on the radar as of late. Now, currently right now, he's trying to play it smart. He's trying to play it under wraps. He's trying to play it low key. But with detectives investigating, and as good as our detectives actually are, we're going to jump right in. And Govan and Blac Youngsta are the key suspects around Big Jook's murder. The reason for this is because of the posts that they've made, the things that we found in forensics, their DNA being found in multiple cars, not just one, multiple different locations. We've heard from eavesdroppers that they're telling us about what they're actually doing behind the scenes, because we have undercover people, remember, talking to Blac Youngsta, and we found under recent investigation as we're exploring more and looking through more cellular data that Yo Gotti is involved with young Dolph. And Yo Gotti paid Govan to do this to young Dolph. Toward the end of November, it was reported that there had been 352 homicides and over 14,000 stolen cars in just Memphis alone. Now, NBD says repeat offenders. Now, we also said that 20% of all those charged were charged with other crimes previously. Now, much of that discussion was centered around dealing with violent repeat offenders. And so, the NBD wrote to Facebook, anyone with this information about this incident should call Crime Stoppers. And you will be given a secret number ID, and your identification will remain completely anonymous. Now, Blac Youngsta spoke out for the first time following the tragedy last Sunday, and stating he would make the world pay for what happened, and that he is ready for whatever comes with this. Big Jook was at a restaurant. Now, appearing in the screenshot from the footage that appeared to be at the scene of the crime, the photo looks where the alleged assailant is seen rocking a white t-shirt, silver chain, dark shorts, and a red trucker cap. And we have reason to believe it was Blac Youngsta. Now, officers made the scene to find that it is an ongoing investigation. Celebrities and young people, they like to think they're smart, but we actually think outside the box. We've been around this. We've been doing this for years. This isn't anything new to us. And so, it was suspicious to us. And then we started investigating under Yo Gotti and Simmons, coming to find out the revelations where we had to put him on house arrest, and because there's new emerging details going on right now. And we have probable cause that he retaliated and killed Yo Gotti's brothers. He wrote on Instagram stories, "I'm gonna make the world pay. I swear to God, nobody is safe. Standing over everybody for life. I'm ready for whatever comes with this. It's okay. Don't feel sorry for me. I'm not gone. Feel sorry for nobody. Only God knows," he added. And so he added that he's going to make sure they kill me. I promise life will never be the same. I'm the strongest man in the world. And Blac Youngsta has been arrested. He's the meet Govan and straight drop in court. He's placed on house arrest and will not be able to be around felons or weapons because it goes against the attorney state law. And Govan was placed on house arrest, but we're looking to violate him because he's been in all these news stories. He's been involved in all these shootings. Everything that's going on, we're sick and tired of it. We're not going to stand by it anymore. We're going to put our feet down. We're going to get in the mud. We're going to get a little dirty. And we're going to come out clean. And so, and Govan and Blac Youngsta, both of their names were brought up in the shooting of Big Jook. Now, Big Jook, Yo Gotti's brother, was killed recently last Sunday. Now, Yo Gotti hasn't came forward on any disclaimers about his brother. He was actually seen performing at a concert 3 days after his brother's death. A lot of his fans thought that he was cold. that he didn't care about his brother. But it's a mix of ideologies. It's a mix of different things going on right now. And a couple of witnesses from Hickory Hill came forward to talk about Govan and how he came out of the house and he was at the scene. Remember, he was placed on house arrest, and he's not supposed to be out of his house. He's not supposed to be around felons. He's not supposed to be around drugs or weapons of any sort. He cannot be drinking even. Right now, he's under strict surveillance, but for some reason, he was out in front of his house and he, went to a couple different spots. There's other assailants that are involved in the crime scene, searching from forensics with detectives doing an ongoing investigation as we speak. We go back to Young Dolph and the Cookies and Makita store, and how Blac Youngsta, Gotti, and Big Jook, before his were involved in the of Young Dolph. We have a lot of information going back to forensics, and the cars that were jumped into, the white BMW and the yellow car from around the back of the Makita's cookie store. Probable cause, we have physical proof. Last year, Jamaica entered a plea deal for accessory after the fact, and since that time, this case has been reset, ushering in a delay in sentencing as well. And so Judge says Jamaica is set to reappear in court on March. Now, shortly afterward, the 27-year-old then walked out of court, still free on bond. Next up was the man prosecutors called the mastermind behind everything, the deadly shooting, Hernandez Govan. Now, Govan's attorney previously said there are no plans to seek a resolution until after Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith, the two accused of firing the deadly shots, go to trial in March. Now, Jermaikus Johnson and Govan have been ordered to attend the trial as co-defendants, but it's unclear if they will testify or not. I don't know right off the hand, and I could just say forcefully, but with any kind of authority, because everything is so fluid. And so, although Jermaikus Johnson and Hernandez Govan are free on bond, the other two defendants, Justin Johnson and Cornelius Smith, remain in jail on first-degree charges for Young Dolph. R.I.P. Young Dolph, because his family and his people are seeing this, and they're having to mourn this every day. Remember, he was loved around his town. He was loved around his people. He treated them right. He tried to help out his community.